Now we're in Wisconsin. Local bars flooded with customers as the state Supreme Court overturns Democratic Governor Tony Evers' stay-at-home order. However, city ordinances remain in effect, so those looking for a drink out in Milwaukee, for instance, are still out of luck. Mattie, you are from Wisconsin. What do you think?
I'm a proud Wisconsinite, Maria, even though I live in Washington, D.C. I think it's an interesting split screen what's happening across the country right now. Yesterday, you saw in the Wall Street Journal, the president of the New York Stock Exchange articulate protocols for reopening, safety measures that will be put in place. Measure that against Wisconsin, where the governor has said we either open or we stay closed. Now, of course, that order was overturned. So now localities, it's up to them to try and create rules and regulations so that businesses can reopen. I really think what we need is leadership, telling the American people that we are going to be open for business, but how we can do so in a safe and effective manner. I mean, it can't just be a free-for-all, right? We know that times have to change a little bit so that we can protect the public health, but that doesn't mean that we need to stay closed down in perpetuity. I mean, in Wisconsin, you've got small businesses that power the economy there. You've got manufacturers who are trying to get back online. It is critical that they have clarity on what the rules and regulations need to be so they can do so safely so we can get people back to work.
Yeah, you mentioned that op-ed from the head of the New York Stock Exchange, NYC President Stacey Cunningham, writing an op-ed announcing the trading floor will open on May 26th. In that journal op-ed, she says, our reopening will bring a new normal for the New York Stock Exchange, hopefully helping chart a path that other businesses in densely populated areas might follow. So even with these new safety measures in place, is the New York Stock Exchange ready for traders? That's the question. Maybe people won't want to come back. Dagan McDowell, jump in.
A lot of this falls on businesses. It is pretty clear what it would take to avoid having people crowd into a space and make sure that both the customers and the employees are safe. Looking at just what all the supermarkets that have been open and all the drugstores that have been open, and that's where the kind of ire and upset comes from smaller business operations. Somebody who runs a dog grooming business, like in New York City, why can't he be open? He doesn't even really come in contact with humans for the most part. Vets are open. Why not dog grooming businesses? You can get a waiver. I know people. I know a barber who will cut your hair in New York. I know a dog groomer who will clip your pup. I know a restaurant owner who will let you sit in the bar and have some drinks while you're, quote, waiting for your food. People are not going to tolerate this because, again, it ultimately comes down to free will and individuals taking responsibility for themselves, their loved ones, and their families. And you look at Texas, where Texas has certain orders in place, and you have like the People's Republic of Austin and Dallas and San Antonio trying to one-up the governor. Well, they can't do that, and they've been told you can't order people to wear masks. We've suggested folks wear masks when they're out in public, but some of these left-wing cities want to one-up the leadership in the state. That's part of the problem. It's become a political power grab for so many people.
Yeah. Yeah, and this is the conversation taking place across the country, John Hilsenrath, like that Dave Portnoy video which went viral from Barstool Sports.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the one thing I'd say, just to throw it back to Dagan a little bit, is, cities are in a different situation than a lot of other places because people are concentrated in these places and the virus preys on places where people are concentrated. So, a lot of people are saying, well, we have to let local authorities make their own decisions. In some places, as we've seen tragically in New York, there's a bigger threat and the trade-offs are even steeper.
But New York, but the orders in New York, for example, are coming from the governor. And what was most tragic, which the Wall Street Journal has on the front page this morning, are the deaths in the nursing homes. The deaths in New York and in Pennsylvania. Well over half of the COVID-19 deaths in Pennsylvania happened in nursing homes and retirement facilities. Yep. And that's on the governor, quite frankly, and his health director, who ordered these nursing homes to take elderly people back in and and initially would not allow them to test patients who were coming back after being in the hospital with COVID-19. Again, how much do you trust how much do you trust a bureaucrat who basically has blood on his or her hands? That's the issue.
Yeah.
So, you're still ordering the people of New York around. Do we trust your guidance? Worth asking.
Yep. Quick break, and then coming up next, who knew what and when? Former Attorney General under President Trump, Jeff Sessions, is here weighing in on the unmasking